Magic Emily Billington. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. How you doing?
Well, before we went live, I told you I had a headache today.
Mm-hmm.
And I skipped the monthly meeting. Did you go to the meeting?
I did not go to the meeting.
Neither of us went to the meeting.
I was like, if you're going to have a meeting at 6 a.m., I'm not usually going to be able to make it.
Yeah, I didn't budge. I stayed in bed. I had a headache, and I wasn't moving. I got up and got going today, and I'm here. I just did a show with Jonathan on the WP Tonic show, and I was scheduled for a live with Yana Domas at 10 a.m., so I pulled that off, and I think it went well. But here we are. So I think the big news about the meeting that we missed, and it might be relevant to people on this call, is LifterLMS releasing the 8.0 version.
Yeah, did that one's come out in Slack, right?
Yeah, so it came out in Slack, and I know that they're going to be doing, they asked us to take a look at it and put it in like test sites and stuff. And then I think it's going to go live at the end of the week.
Yeah, I think that's the goal. And that one,
we probably would have covered that in the meeting that I didn't go to.
They probably did. But let's see. So yeah, there's a lot coming with LifterLMS 8.0. I think some standout features are the featured course pricing will show up in the catalog. That's where a lot of people say, like, hey, when I'm looking at the course catalog page, it can't show a price for the courses, but now that's going to be an option in LifterLMS 8.0. And then there's the one that shows has quiz or has assignment on the syllabus. So when you're looking at a course at large, you can see which lessons have courses and quizzes, or which lessons have quizzes and assignments.
Yep.
And then just trying to see lesson-based enrollment drip settings with start date set. I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but that sounds cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to same way that you and I told people to learn how to use something, right? Play around, get in there and plunk around, and don't be afraid to break something, right? Just throw it on a staging site and see what things happen, right? Brian put in a message that said that there's a new pop-up when adding an access plan with templates to help set actions quickly. So that what you were talking about with options is going to be like, it's a pop-up, like I'm putting this in, and so it might be some extra clicks for some people that they might say, what is this for? But I think it's important to note that we wouldn't have added that if scads of people didn't ask for it. I can remember you making, custom course catalog videos years ago, showing people how to add different information to things that didn't come with the platform dynamically. So I think it's kind of cool that, it's come full circle and it's going to be in there. The other thing that caught me off guard, if I'm just going to be, legit, and I think it's important for people to know, you and I don't always have an inside look at what's coming. Sometimes we just go, oh, there it is. Support for Beaver Builder for courses, memberships, and lessons. I haven't really heard of Beaver Builder being like a front and center conversation point lately, so I was kind of surprised to see that kind of pop in on this release. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I know we've got a fair amount of Beaver Builder people out there. In fact, I was just helping a client with a Beaver Builder website this week. And it's just kind of funny, because they're like, oh, I was just building in Beaver Builder because that's what I used to use on my other site. And I'm like, okay. But then when I looked at their site, it was so basic. I'm like, why did you turn on Beaver Builder? Like, you don't even need a page builder. Just work with a theme. But everyone's got their own workflow and I guess their own habits. And so it's kind of cool that we now integrate with that.
Yeah, no, certainly. And the community for Beaver Builder is still it's not as big as it used to be, but it's still there are some dedicated web developers who are still rocking that one on all the builds.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of cool things in this big release. The big thing is if you're someone that's active in your website, if you're someone that is active building sites for others, like Emily and myself are, the main thing is get the update, breeze through a couple of things, get familiar with a couple of the screen changes. I only have one site now that's on Groundhog. I used to have a handful of sites on Groundhog. Now I just have one. And I just signed into it today because I had to do something. And the amount of changes that have happened in the last 18 months to Groundhog, it was phenomenal. It's a completely different user interface. It might be better. There's a lot more detail in there, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm you don't want to be working on sites for other people or trying to show other people how things work. And then you sign in and go, what the heck is this? You kind of want to stay knowledgeable along the way. And so I think this is a really good, for people that have Lifter already, this will be a really good opportunity to jump back in and just make sure that you're, familiar with what's where and how things are going to work. That said, I got a sign on the screen. I should probably say it verbally for people that only listen to the audio. If you are new to Lifter or you're looking to purchase something in the Lifter ecosystem, you can get a 55% off coupon by going to lifterlms.com/AMA-gift, lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. For the record, every time I say AMA, I think of motorcycles.
I'm not. What's the association there?
The American Motorcyclist Association. And when I used to road race motorcycles, it was, I was an AMA sanctioned road race instructor, the AMA, that's AMA. And then other people would be like the American Medical Association, but those people are quacks. All right. So what kind of things, other than the newness of the platform, are things that you want to address this week? Have you got anything that's in your side view that you want to cover?
I don't really have anything in my side view to cover. I could talk through what I've been working on this week, which is a lot of custom development. This week, I was working on a website that was the most white labeled LMS I've ever done. The white label Lifter LMS, no longer a product that you can purchase, but I was in there with a bunch of CSS and doing back-end changes to make this site exactly how they wanted it for instructors, so that instructors saw a welcome panel, they saw videos, they did not have access to most things. When they go to the courses page, there's no edit button, no quick edit button, no export, no clone, they just view or builder. And then when they go into the builder, what they wanted was no lesson editing, no assignments. You can't edit lessons and assignments, but you can edit quizzes. And so we got it all to work with some custom code and capabilities and everything.
Well, that sounds like a nightmare. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's not super hard. We can figure out 2-3 problems in an hour or so.
The thing with doing that kind of customization, do you worry that a new update rolls out 8.0 or a new whatever rolls out and it interferes with your customizations or anything like that?
Not in this case, because what I was doing was hiding a lot of things based on CSS classes, so they would have to redo all of the names of all the components that load in the back end, which is probably never going to happen. We see products like LearnDash that have been acquired, and the prefixes for their items are SFWD, which references the previous name of the company 10 years ago. So companies rarely change these names in the code, but there are some things certain hooks and filters and certain templates. If we redo what the course builder looks like, those names might update. So things like that could be threatening there, but this client's willing to redo this stuff because it only takes 5 hours of work or so.
Yeah. I have a couple of projects where there was custom stuff in there, and then I had one where we had put in notes, the new Lifter LMS notes, because I thought it was awesome. And then the customer was like, nah, it's a distraction for the students. I don't want to have notes. And then we took notes out, and then there was some other customization things that we had done in the website with a developer that was not me. And then all of a sudden, someone new came to the project and said, I don't know why we don't have notes activated. I want to have notes. And then notes did not activate, like it didn't install and activate like it should have. Why? Because our custom development had restricted the view of that, you know? And so those are just things along the way that if you came into the project afterward, it would just be a monkey's nest of nonsense. You know, it's I don't know. There's an advantage to doing a project from scratch. And I also think there's a huge advantage to trying to stick with the tools as they're used a lot. Like the over customization of things always kind of gets me weirded out some. And I know that that's a strong suit for you. So you're like, I don't know why Kurt's nervous. I just do it. But for me, I'm always conscious of like, how far do I want to change this? How far do I want to modify this? How far do I want to let the customer be in control of the UX? When the customer is not really a UX expert, they just think they know what they want, but they really don't have a reason. That's your favorite question is why, right?
Yeah.
Why do you want to do that? I just thought it would be cool. No, stop with the I thought it would be cool nonsense.
I mean, it's cool until it costs like $3,000 to build. And that's only for some customers. That's like for people who are just starting out. Like a lot of the clients I'm working with now have much bigger budgets than that. So they're like, yeah, we want to go through multiple rounds of customization of the back end of WordPress, and we have the budget to do so. So I'm like, whatever, that sounds fine to me. You know, with high requirements and a quick timeline where you're not going to learn how to do things yourself or in-house, there comes a lot of cash for developers a lot of the time.
Yeah, and you did mention budget, which I think is interesting. You know, there's projects out there where it might be the whole website for $2,500, and then there's sites where it's like I can make you a page for $2,500, and that is a really interesting conversation to have, because a lot of folks just starting out can't wrap their heads around that. We see a lot, you know, coming into Lifter from new faces, new voices. And they'll say, oh, you know, do you have anything more affordable? That, you know, $1,500 for the Infinity is just an arm and a leg. It's so expensive. And I come from a world where if you wanted a functional LMS in corporate space, you're going to be out six figures. And so when I look at hosting $35, $50 a month, $1,500 for LifterLMS, WordPress is open source, it's free. I mean, I have a functional LMS for less than $2,000 launching it for the first year, and it used to be six figures. Like that. So everyone has a different impression of finance and expense, right? But I think it's really important to kind of know your use case and know where you're at. Now, Art says, greetings from Southern California, not in the fire zone. Art, I moved here. I moved to Kansas from Southern California. I used to live in Corona. And I'm not going to lie, last Friday, I was trying to do some work online, but every time I got on X or Facebook, it was nothing but derogatory nonsense about the fire in California. And so I felt inspired Saturday to just call and check on some friends, like, hey, you know, and it seemed like everyone I talked to was fine. It was like the weirdest thing, because you saw the stuff all over the news and all over the internet. And then thankfully, like my one friend who's like a serious asthmatic, I called him and I said, hey, I just want to make sure you're okay, you know, in this time of crisis. He's like, hey, bro, I'm going mountain biking. I was like, what? So he went to a place called Whiting Ranch to go mountain biking. He said all the smoke was blowing out to the ocean. The air was clear. He was going to go mountain biking. So Art, I'm glad to hear you're out of the fire zone and you are well. We also have Delphine King is with us again. Kinvig, Delphine Kinvig. Good morning from Canada. Delphine probably has the same kind of picture that I posted yesterday. Did you see any of my pictures yesterday, Emily?
I don't think
You don't follow me. You don't care about me at all. I posted pictures of me barbecuing in a snowdrift yesterday. I made some homemade bacon, and I made a couple of chuck roasts on the grill. Nice. Cooking in a snowdrift. You ready for our first question of the day?
Yeah.
Barry had a question. how do I change my title and profile picture in the membership instructor section on the enrollment page? Then it goes deeper. How do I edit the text on the membership payment page? After the payment option, there is an error. How come the membership payment page is in blog post format? Can I do anything about that? So we got 3 questions in one. I think the first one is, how do we change the title and profile picture in the membership instructor section?
Yeah, let's take a look at that. I was cruising around on a demo site because I installed Lifter 8.0 just to check it out. But let's take a look.
It's broken.
And it's broken. No, I haven't seen a single broken thing yet, so that's awesome. So how do I change my title and profile?
Title and picture in the instructor.
Yeah, so I'm assuming what you're referring to. You can correct us in chat if that's not it, but I mean, this membership already has it done. You just do this where you build your own. But what you're probably looking at by default is what's called the instructors block, where it looks like this. Let me save it and show it on the front end. Each theme will make this look a little bit different, but generally it will look something like this. Maybe this is center aligned, maybe there's a blue line. Themes make this look a little bit different, but this information is going to come from your profile directly. So if I click edit profile, which is going to be under users profile in the back end, this is where I can set my display name, which is currently Arthur Wells. And it's going to say author for the course, but we can change that, or for the membership. I'll show you how to change that word in a second. But where it says about the instructor, that is, it's not something you can edit right here directly, but the bio that appears below it, an expert in his industry, that information is in the biographical info on your profile. And then the profile picture is right here. That's from Gravatar by default. So globally recognized avatar is that Gravatar thing. We all use it in WordPress. It didn't really catch on outside of WordPress, to my knowledge, outside of web development, but maybe one day it will. And so you can go to Gravatar, set that profile image. But you can also install a free plugin called, I think it's Profile Press Images, where you can set images manually for users. This is one I recommend to clients a lot. Clients who are not in the web development space. Let me look it up and see if we can find one. I think Profile Press is the one I use, but there's a bunch of these. This one works. 50,000 installs. So if you install this add-on, what it'll do is on the profile page, it will allow me to upload from my computer a custom picture without having to go to Gravatar. LifterLMS Social Learning also does this, but that's a paid add-on, so you might not have it. But on the profile page, now that I have that free plugin installed, I should be able to set a new profile. There it is, profile image. So I can click to edit and upload something to my media library. And so that's where you'll get the picture, and that's where you'll set your bio. If you want to change the name author here, you can see when I click the LifterLMS logo in the upper right while editing the membership, there's a drop down, label as author, so I can change it to instructor or whatever I want that to be. Ladder, leader. Whatever you want that bio to say, you can change it there. So hopefully that answers your first question.
Yeah, the next part of the question was, how do I edit the text on the membership payment page?
Yeah, so also, real quick note, you can also delete this block, throw it in the trash, and build your own box like this. This is also a way to do that. But
correct me if I'm wrong, that box is a aircraft product, right? It's a pattern in aircraft.
Let's see. I have no clue. Let's see. So aircraft team. Yeah, it's this one. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that is a pattern in aircraft. So if you're I think aircraft's in the universe bundle, right? And Infinity. So if you're on one of those plans, you can access this little pre-made template, drop in your picture, put in a bio, and it's done. But yeah, so looking at editing the pricing page or the purchase page, let's see. So if I join for $200 a month, we want to look at edit the text on the membership payment page. After the payment options, there's error. Let's look at that in a second. But on this page, text is edited in different places. So as far as the word purchase, that's going to be just clicking edit page. In the back of your WordPress website, LifterLMS creates a page called purchase. It's one of the 4 required pages. You can change it to checkout, whatever you want it to be. And so if I go back to my membership and do that page now, we'll see checkout right there on the top. And then for editing the words like billing information, we're going to go to LifterLMS forms on the back end. And here is where we can edit the billing information form, which appears on checkout. And then we can change this to say customer info, whatever we want that to say. And then that's going to update right there.
I prefer give me your money.
Yes. Information to give.
Give me your money.
And so whatever you want that to say is doable here because it's fully customizable in the block editor. So are these fields like email address. You could even say like yo email address. Whatever you want to say within these blocks, you can update them. Oh, and also I'm logged into the website, so email's not going to show up for me. But let me go back and do name. Like, so if I do like edit the first and last name block, I can just say first and last, whatever I want that to say. Hopefully that'll update. There it goes. First and last. And I can also edit the placeholder text. So you can have, let me see if I can spell. There we go. Might need to reload this. There's this weird error I've been getting when I try to upload these fields. Maybe just reloading the page will fix that for me. So if it's blank, you can see there's some suggestion text, interesting things like that to edit your pricing or your payment page. When it comes to something like order summary, this is where it gets a little more complicated and where we get into territory like Loco Translate. So Loco Translate is a free plugin that works very well with LifterLMS for translating Lifter into languages other than English. But it also does things like customizing these words that are usually not customizable. So if I install the Loco Translate plugin, it has over 1 million installs. Very popular one. Let's activate and just show how would I change like order summary, for example. How we would change order summary is we first need to go to Loco Translate plugins. We're looking at the LifterLMS plugin. We have a full tutorial on this too, so you don't have to pick it all up here. But we'll do new language. We're going English to English. So I'm going to say my language is English and I'm going to store my location in the custom one for where these translations will be stored. We're looking for the word order summary. And so this is, what do you want this to say, Kurt?
Man, I don't know. Heads up. Man, I don't know. That works good. Everyone will know that.
That's perfect. So whatever you want it to say. Doesn't matter. You can absolutely translate it with Loco Translate. And then it'll say it right there. So
Man, I don't know.
But yeah, so that's available here. Same with the words like membership. This is the name of the membership. The access plan name is right there. But yeah, so that's how we would translate the payment page. Hopefully that's enough leads to point you in the right direction.
I don't know what happened to my camera.
Oh yeah, you're a little frozen.
You see it frozen?
I see it frozen.
I see it. I'm still blacked out. Let me try a different cam. Let me try camera on. Let me try changing the resolution.
There you
back.
go.
It just got tired of working at 1080p, maybe.
Yeah, I wonder.
That was so weird because my screen kind of went like, poof, poof, and I'm like, whoa, 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 brand new computer, new screens. You missed that too. I got two 32-inch monitors now. I look like a real geek.
Wow. Well,
yeah, that's in our Slack on Lifter.
Oh yeah.
I said rate my space.
Water cooler. Let me see. I have not been in Slack much lately. Only like once a week to check DMs. Okay, that's a good space.
I'm enjoying it.
You're enjoying it?
And what's really weird is part of me wants to make it more modern, contemporary, you know, and the other part of me is like, I kind of like grandma's wallpaper and her chair behind me.
Yeah. My office changes all the time, and so I literally have a briefcase with my computer, an extension cord, and the tripod for the camera. So my setup is just a laptop.
Yeah. Well, I have promoted my laptop to laptop status now. So now I've got a go bag. Like, if we're gonna be like, you know, conspiracy theorists, WordPress workers, my go bag is right there with my, you know, my charging brick, my laptop, and I'm ready to go, and my external hard drive. So I try to keep everything here for work, but then I'm ready to split. Like, I ran the WordPress meetup on Tuesday, and you know, I disappeared with the backpack with the external hard drive, and that way I've got stuff with me if I need assets. But it's always fun. It's fun to do that. We went, I have the WordPress meetup at a tap room. And so it's really fun because even if no one shows up for WordPress meetup, I usually end up meeting other business owners and entrepreneurs and people there that are like, what's all this stuff? Like, imagine going to a tap room to get a nice cold pint of something, and someone shows up and throws up a projector and a website on the wall. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I teach people how to use the internet here. Ends up being a really good conversation point. And I get to share the wealth of WordPress with people.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I saw your picture where you had a projector on a brick wall.
I used to bring a 10-foot screen when it was, but they expanded the tap room. So so now there's a whole front room and a middle room. The middle room's where I used to give the meetup, and I had it all to myself, and I had a 10-foot screen and all this crap. But now I'm in the back room, and I just thought, you know what, it'll be cool to throw it on the brick and see what happens. That was just kind of cool, I thought. Yeah, it's nice. That's with Pippin Williamson of WordPress fame. Lets me use that space. There was a third part to Barry's question, and that was, how come the membership payment page is in a blog post format? Can I do anything about that? And I find that to be an interesting question, because I think a lot of people miss the point that when you add a plugin to WordPress that does dynamic content and stuff like that, it's really adding like custom post types. And so depending on your choice of setup, you're going to have some decisions. Like, for instance, if I'm building a site in bricks, I can make a templated page for any type of post. Like, I could say, here's a template I created for blog posts, but here's a template I created for membership posts, and here's a template I created for course posts. And so you can do that. And you can do that with other kinds of page builders too. And then in full site editing, you can do that to a certain extent also.
Yeah, I was with that question, how come the membership payment page is in a blog post format? Yeah, like, I wonder if it might be the sidebar or something from a theme coming in.
Well, and that was my only thought, right? Is like, when you go into that membership page and edit that membership page, you can select what template it's going to come up on.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you need to create a template, you can create a template for it as well. But I think a lot of people get lost in that conversation, if I'm going to be blunt. Um, a lot of people don't realize that kind of flexibility exists in WordPress. A lot of people think they install something and what they get is what they get. And then they try, like through custom CSS, to try and do things and overcomplicate it, when maybe if they had a page builder that simplified it. Like if you have Elementor, for example, when you go into settings for Elementor, you pick off of a tick list, right? Like it'll say you're going to edit pages and posts, but then you'll notice there's a bunch of unchecked things underneath it if you have a Lifter installation, and it's going to be courses, memberships, lessons, blah, 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 right? And so then you can create, but still now I'm going to confuse the matter. The content is still dynamically placed. So, you create the template and then you have a content area that the dynamic material is going to go into. So you're kind of creating the shell that dynamic content is going to get injected into, but you do control over that overall appearance.
Yeah. You do control that, but it's all theme dependent. So you'll want to make sure you're on a good theme for Lifter, and if you're using a page builder like Bricks or Elementor or something, you'll be able to control it that way too.
Yeah, I just redid Mañana No Mas again on Bricks. I did it with bricks and frames. So that might be fun for you to look at, Emily. That's just between us. I changed some of the copywriting. I tried to follow some of Chris Badgett's input and advice on changing some of the copywriting and trying to be more influential. I still have a lot of changes I think I want to make, but I'm going to do it over time.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I notice myself all the time. I spend hours and hours working on client sites. Like, right now I'm spending like 5-6 hours a day working on client site builds, but I don't spend that time on my own build, on my own marketing. So like I'm optimizing their sales funnels, their SEO, their marketing strategy, all this stuff. But on my own, I'm like, I just don't have a need to yet, but I ought to spend more time with that on my own project.
Yeah. Shout out to Scott Hill. Welcome to the call, Scott. Scott, do you have any questions for us today? We're a little light on content, so you'll notice we're a little more freeform today. What you mentioned there was like really important, and that was more for people that are like agency focused. So, and we have a lot of agencies that come and see this call, believe it or not, because I get feedback from them all the time in different channels. People in agencies might not be making e-learning websites, right? So this could be new to them, which is why they get interested and come see what we have to say here. But if you think about, pardon me, you're running an agency, you're making tons of websites for other people. You've got 2 or 3 projects going at a time. Now you're trying to learn LifterLMS on top of that. You've got a learning curve and time that's spent on that stuff, but it's, at the end of the day, you're still trying to grow your own entity, and that having that balance is really, really hard. And I've leveraged some AI tools recently over the last 6 months to a year, Emily, that I think have really helped with what I was trying to do. And that's because I've grown really comfortable at video content. So I just make video content and then import that video into a couple of AI tools that split it up into shorts or into summary articles that become blog posts on the Mañana No Mas website. And then it's really just helped me to curate some of that content and then run it through like some keyword checkers and be like, am I hitting keywords? Am I saying appropriate things? Is Google going to pick this up or not? And then is there a external link that's applicable to this article? Sometimes that'll come through too. But I've had to put more effort into making sure that the voice of Mañana No Mas is still continuing to grow, even though I'm working on other people's stuff. It's a really hard balance to maintain. Scott says he is still working out how to go from the last lesson in a course to the next course. If I remember correctly, I think Scott was the one that wanted it to be automated. He was looking for a way to, someone finishes the last lesson in a course. He wanted them, instead of going back to the course or back to the course catalog, he wanted them to go to lesson 1 of the next course.
Yes.
If I remember that. I think that was last week. And I know from an enrollment standpoint there, you would be able to do it. Like, you would be able to say, if you had a CRM like Fluent CRM, or you had WP Fusion or something like that, you would be able to say, when someone completes this lesson or completes this course, enroll them in the next course. So you could make that happen like lickety split, right? And then they would get the notification through LifterLMS at the top right of the page. Congratulations, you've been enrolled in this course. They could click on that notification and go right to the course. So that's one way to say, semi out of the box, how would I make that happen? But to go from the last lesson in a course to the first lesson of another course, like to do the enrollment and then land on that URL of that first lesson, not exactly sure what that would look like in real life.
Yeah, and also, there's an idea that I had about a setup like that. So if
I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. If I share my screen here, one thing you could do that's out of the box, not super developer intensive, but would be to just hide this box. You do have to have a little bit of CSS code, right? But CSS usually isn't too hard. If you take LMS block navigation to the next course, or back to the course, and display none, that'll remove the button. So we'll add that text to our CSS area. So this would just be blank. We could, from here, install like a manual button, manually add a button as a block, and then it would look a little bit different than this button, but then it would link to the first lesson of the next course. It could even be like a box like this with a gray background that says, congrats on completing this course. Here's the link to the next one. And then instead of this stuff, we would, a lot of blocks. We would just throw in a button, like this. Let's delete the second column. And then here we would put in a button block, and then throw that on the last lesson page. So once we had our CSS change finalized, I didn't save it or anything. I just like this, and then went display none, and then you'd have to add that to your CSS file. But something like this would be kind of a manual solution for that with not too much code.
I'm not sure what question you got up to while I stepped away, but there's the it said, is there a way to change the completed lessons from shown as a strike through text to maybe light gray instead? Maybe custom CSS that could be put in or something.
I think it's like theme dependent. So if we mark complete this, this does a checkbox because it's like the theme settings. So you're gonna be like, each theme does a little different. I'm in SkyPilot, so if you're in like Cadence or Astra or whatever theme you're in, it's gonna be.
I think Astra does the strike through. Just going by memory.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, this looks different. Yeah, it's a strike through, and so I don't know where that style is located. Lesson title, LMS, text decoration. So it looks like LMS preview is complete. So you could probably say like color, and then you have a hex code for like F000, something like that.
Pardon me.
So that would customize like the text, and you'd also have to customize maybe the underlying color or something. But it would be something along these lines for your CFS.
Gray is like 333333, right? Or is that black? That's black.
That's like an off black.
Yeah.
This one, but I mean, maybe it's probably like 5. It's probably like that, or even if you go higher, like 8. No, not 8. No, 8 works, but like, or like climbing the left edge of that little drag and drop panel with all the colors, and you drag your color. It just climbs the numbers going from left on the left side with all the grayscale. Yeah, so there's definitely a CSS customization you can probably do for that. I don't know if this calls like the place to get into CSS customization, but we don't have a lot of questions, so I'm just saying.
I am seeing a question from Scott in here, and it has me thinking of a different kind of use case. So when we're done here, we can talk about his other question.
Yeah, I can be done here. I'm just like screwing around. Didn't change my color to red. Text decoration is none. Right, so there's like something here I'm missing, but it's just messing around with the CSS, getting the right identifier, and yeah, there it goes. So the underline needs to be fixed and stuff, but this is the CSS I did in just a few minutes, so might not be robust, but it's there if you want to play with that.
It works. There's a thing here from and you put it right in chat. That's nice of you, man. That's super nice, Emily. Super nice. Yeah. Very kind. Enrollment is through membership that gets them enrolled into 10 courses at once. I'm looking at just putting a button at the bottom of the last lesson. So I'm almost picturing like you have them sign up for a membership, they get auto-enrolled into 10 classes, and then the right side of their screen goes, you're enrolled in all these things. And maybe what you're looking at is a way to make this less ShamWow guy in the middle of the night, right? Maybe you're looking for this to be a little more mellow. Well, you don't have to do the auto-enrollment with the membership. What you can do is through the membership, give them free enrollment to courses that they can enroll in themselves. So there's a setting in the access plans where you can say, access plan title, enrollment visible for free, but with this membership. And maybe that's a user pathway that would meet your needs better, Scott. Because if it's the auto-enrolled for 10 courses at a time, and that's a distraction, and you want them to just be able to go course to course, I think we had talked last week about you could add a button to a lesson that says, click here to go to the next course or something like that. And so if you were to do that, you would be able to say, sign up for this membership and get access to these 10 courses. And then you could auto-enroll them into the first course. And then you could just link them to the following courses, and each one they would say enroll, and it would be enroll for free with this membership. If they don't have that membership, they're going to get redirected back to the membership to purchase the membership.
Yeah, and you could also just turn off that notification for courses, because it's kind of annoying if you didn't want the pop-ups.
True. You could turn that off. Yeah. It just occurred to me that maybe that was the obstacle, right? Maybe it's just the user experience of that.
Yeah, or it's like you're reveling in riches. They've purchased your membership and they just have spam of all the notifications they have access to. Then it's just like, oh my gosh, I've got all the courses. I can't even count them all. But if you want it to be more of a fluid experience, then we could turn that off. It's in the settings page. If I could my admin, I can show you that. It's
I've done it a couple of different ways. I kind of like the self-enrollment based on
yeah,
a membership model.
that one can turn off the basic, but then also, like Kurt's saying, instead of auto enrollment, you would do a free plan, which I have the new access plan system, so we can see it right now. Boom, free. But then it's members only. Members only. You have to be in the Academy membership. Save that. So then what this will look like is free, but you get well, this is free if you're not in, or free if you aren't, but would delete this plan because that way people aren't going to be getting into your site without the membership. But it would be like this one. They would click enroll now. It would take them over to the Academy where they could then purchase this somehow, one of these plans, and then they would have access to get into that free plan on the course.
And if they were already a member, it would just take them right to the course.
Yeah.
That's a smooth way to go. I've done that. I'm trying to think of the amount of times I've done that. I've probably done that a dozen times in the last year.
Yeah, it's nice because it's like you give people a golden ticket to run around the website and cash in whatever they want. So it like really allows for a custom experience. I saw someone create it's like a Netflix style experience where you buy the membership, you get access to everything in the platform for free as a part of that membership, but then you have to go around and click play or enroll into whatever the products are that you're gonna watch.
Yeah, I like that. We've got some time left, Emily. I'm just wondering, maybe this would be a good time to you put that 8.0 into a demo site. Why don't we give a quick tour of like what the new access plan experience is like? Because I know there's some pop-ups and stuff now.
Yeah, so you saw the pop-up here. So when you go to add an access plan, what is this, from scratch? So advanced is how we've been doing it to this point, where it's like you're going to configure all the stuff from scratch. But so that's like start from scratch advanced here. And then if you're doing a groups access plan, this one requires the groups add-on, but that's available out of the box. It's just all of these, they just do presets. So like for a monthly plan, if we wanted to do a monthly plan, previously what we'd have to do is it would be a paid plan, and then we would select every month for a certain amount of months or whatever. But now with this setup, we can make it faster by just clicking monthly, and then it's already set up for us, and then we can simply change it to whatever we want it to be. So it just speeds up your process for making access plans. And I've made 6 access plans now, so I have to delete them. But, one-time payment, free trial payment, hidden access. These are all things that were all able to be done in LifterLMS previously, but they're faster because you can simply choose which works for you and then edit it instead of starting from scratch every time.
Yeah.
So that's available. The other change that I'm excited about is if we view a course, it says has quiz because this lesson has a quiz. And probably there's not an assignment on here, but it also does that for assignments to say, hey, this has a quiz. Also, if we do the start strong, I'll change the pricing and make it featured. We can see it on the course page. So if this is not free, if it's paid and it's $200 and it's featured, how do I set it to featured? It's somewhere on here. Yeah, visibility featured. And then I go to my course catalog. Oh, I'm enrolled in it. Am I enrolled in it? Looks like I am. Start strong is featured. I might need to unenroll from this one. No, I'm not even in it. Let me see if I can get this to work. I wonder how I can get this to work. If I go to an incognito, This is my first time with the demo too. I don't see.
I thought it was like on the course page itself prior to enrollment.
Yeah, well, these have always been here, but
Featured. See, it says featured at the top.
yeah, but in the Slack notification for general, it says adding purchase checkout link. That's not it. Featured. New featured pricing information input on course and memberships that shows up in the catalog listing. Maybe it's featured pricing information. I thought it was the pricing plan, but let's see if I can find the featured pricing information. I might be looking at the wrong feature. Somewhere in here, there's a featured pricing information. I thought it was simply making a access plan. There it is. It's this thing. It's not featured, which is going to confuse me. So it's not setting an access plan to featured like I thought it was, but it's under general on your courses now. You have this course is $700. There we go. So that's available. So then if you're on the catalog, it says this course is $700. So there we go. That's
Shazam, Shazam, Shazam.
And try to see, like, if you're using Beaver Builder, there you go. Some more features for you, but I'm not using that on this site specifically. It just makes it easier to use the builder on LifterLMS items. What else do we have?
Yeah, Art had asked specifically about the Beaver Builder stuff, and he said he's looking forward to what that will entail. I haven't played with it yet, and the sites that I have Beaver Builder on aren't my own. So I have to play in like customer staging environments to see if I want to learn something. I think it's going to be a lot like Elementor, though, right? Like if you have LifterLMS and Elementor, you can there's certain LifterLMS blocks you can bring over instead of having to use shortcodes and stuff.
Yeah, let's take a look
it's
at
going to be
it.
similar to that.
Yeah, if I go to my courses, I wonder if Beaver Builder. Oh, that's not going to work for me. But we could play with that. I think in Beaver Builder, I have to select which post types I can use Beaver Builder. It's selected on courses and lessons. There we go. Welcome. It looks like it might be your first time. Nope, I'm fine. But if we go to LifterLMS modules, there we are.
Yep. Yeah. So now instead of having to do short codes, you can just drag over the features.
Yeah. So let's see. We put a pricing table here. Oh, that's cool. So it's basically like a short code. Nothing too fancy. It's just a smoother integration. So if you're going to be building sites with this, you'll have an easier time with that.
Yeah. Yeah. That totally makes sense. Scott's got a good question. Scott says, do we get access to a replay of this meeting? That answer is yes. It's been live streamed, right, on multiple channels. So if you're watching on X, you can see the replay on X. If you're Facebook, I'll be loading up a recording of this to Facebook in the next hour or so. And so you'll be able to see it on Facebook. That is the LifterLMS VIP page, right? The successfully learning something page. But if you're not part of our Facebook group over there, I highly encourage you to join us on Facebook. We've got a pretty involved community. We answer a lot of questions over there, and the hive mind, sometimes comes to play there, and we can come up with more solutions than just something that me and Emily might spit at you. Yeah, got to watch what Emily did at 1/4 speed. Yeah, that happens a lot. Emily's pretty quick at stuff, so we gotta break things down and slow it down sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, I am going to hit you with the message one more time to make sure that I get my bases covered here. You can get a 15% off coupon at LifterLMS. Oh, look at this, the coupon code LifterLMS Live. That's not the one. That's 15%. That's horrible. Let's go play it with a real percentage. Let's go down here and say you can get 55% off by going to lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. 55%, not 15. 55% off by going to lifterlms.com/AMA-gift.
I remember the days when the best discount that we offered at Lifter was 12%. And that's only if you had a chat with me. So
use code FF.
yeah, those were the ones. But nowadays you can get crazy discounts, 55%. People would be, and when it was 15% off because of like a sale, the best code would be 17%, because if you talk to me, you get an additional 2%. But now it's 55% for anybody for any reason. Like, as long as you come to the call. And so that's a good deal to have available.
Yeah. When you look back on these things, it's pretty funny to look at a timeline of when things happen, things change. This is a really good time. This is a really good time to get into stuff. I still don't think it's what gurus say. Like someone goes, oh, everyone's got a course inside of them. Put up a course and get a Lamborghini. That's not how it works. It's not how the internet works. You got to do the work. You got to put in the time. You got to manage members. You have to have a strategy. You got to have a plan. You got to have an audience. Build a tribe. All those things. But if you're new and you're like, I don't know how to learn that stuff. The Academy at LifterLMS is a great place to stop and visit along the way. We have basics of working with WordPress. We have getting started with LifterLMS. We have the enrollment summit. There's a lot of tools in the Academy that will help you get through the different phases of growing these things. I've got a client now set up a beautiful website. It's one of the prettiest websites I've ever put together. And, but they're anxious, right? And they're making money. So even with making money, they're anxious. They're like, I don't know how to grade the quizzes. I don't know how to look at the assignments. I'm getting confused and there's a learning curve. And so you have to give yourself the time and the ramp space to get up to speed, because I mean, you see Emily doing stuff and you think, oh, well, it must be easy. That's, 10, 15 years of doing stuff day in and day out. It takes time to build up that muscle memory and to get acclimated, familiarity to be able to do things with confidence.
Yeah, totally.
I got that talk just the other day, Emily. It was, you always make it look so easy. It's so easy for you. And I'm like, I started working at WordPress in 2004. That either means I'm a really big loser or I just took the time to figure it out.
Yeah. There's a lot of time to figure it out. And, but it's not going to take, 5, 10, 15 years for you watching, because we've had to learn multiple iterations of WordPress over time. So if you start today, you have a little bit of an advantage because you hadn't been exposed to the previous indoctrination of how the editors worked. You're just right into the newest editor, the block editor. So once you learn that, you're up to speed. And then you'll have older WordPress users who are like, I don't know how to use the block editor, and you'll have learned it coming in.
Well, Scott's already playing on his website, so we are good there. Astra is a great theme, Scott. I really like Astra. I'm an Astra Pro user. I think I've got a lifetime license. I have a lifetime agency license to Astra with all of the, with Spectra and all the stuff that they add in with that. A really great product. I've got that. I've got Cadence Pro. I've got SkyPilot and Bricks. And if I can't make a client happy with one of those 4 choices, they can find someone else to build something for them in Divi. Because I'm pretty happy with the menu that we've got over here at Mañana No Mas. Those are really good themes. So you've got a good choice there in Astra. That takes us to the top of the hour, Emily. I'm ready to sign off. Are you ready to sign off? Anything special you want to say, like where to reach you? Or, there's Adam Silver. Last minute. Look at that. Hi, Adam. Hi, Adam. Good to see you. I hope your GoFundMe's working out. if you haven't, if you don't know already, there is a GoFundMe attached to Adam Silver. Adam, if you have just 10 seconds, put in the link to the website to get updates. Going once, going twice. I don't know if you're going to get there before we close the live. Anyway, Adam's son had a motorcycle accident, lost a chunk of his leg, so that's a big thing. So I like to support that whenever I can because I'm such an avid motorcyclist. Remember, it all goes full circle. We're back to AMA, the American Motorcyclist Association. There we are. ParkerSilver.com. ParkerSilver.com. You can get updates, and if you can help, great. And if you can't, at least you can send him a message and hope that he gets well. All right. That's that. Where can people reach you, Emily, before I sign off?
Just Google WP Course Guide or Magic Emily Middleton.
Perfect. And you can catch up to me over at manananomas.com, or of course you could reach us through help@lifterlms.com as well, because I'm there quite often as well. Have a great day. See you next week.